Hey everybody, and welcome to your Tuesday lighting critique. So we've got one video to go through, or one animated shot to go through. We've got some stills. I do think this is looking really good. I think overall the white value on the bird is right in alignment with where it should be. Like there were a couple frames previously that got really bright. I think it's good. I think the saturation on the beak looks pretty good. I just saw this. I wonder. Oh no, it's fine. I was actually, you know what? It looks like the beak comes out of focus a little bit here in the foreground. And I think we can probably pull that off because it's not like, I don't think it does us any favors. Because if there were like objects in the foreground that we were putting out of focus and the beak fell into that plane, that would be fine. But I think I would keep the bird in focus throughout and then just allow the background to go blurry a little bit. But the one big thing that I would do is I was looking at the character's skin tone, and he looks pretty saturated in the reds. And so I just pulled it into Photoshop here, and I pulled out some of the red value out of his skin tone, and I think this value feels a little bit better to me. Because I think it still feels warm, like we get a sense of the space, but it's not pushing him quite that far. Do you guys have any comments on this before we jump over the stills? Because I think it's looking overall. I think it's looking pretty good.
Looks gorgeous. I mean, wow. I really love it. You're doing so good on it.
Yeah, and like this is a good balance of. I think the teeth flash a little bit bright, but like in terms of what I was talking about with like having the teeth and eyes be brighter, the brightest parts of the face, I think this works out well.
Looks great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff all around. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's hop into some of the other stills. Right. So, is Dani here? Dani's here. Hey, Dani. Okay. So let's talk about. Let's go through your interior one. So I think I will shut up and see if anybody has any notes on this one, or if we want to cheer, because I think this is good.
Cheer.
I just noticed the mantel's missing shaping that bit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, just like a little bit. Actually, it'd be cool to get a little bit on the edge here and then just up. Yeah. Diana, you got anything? All right, let's fix that mantle. We'll take a look tomorrow. Okay, let's look at the daytime one. So I think this one, the main light has gotten too close, and now it feels like it's being interiorly lit. Because the way it was successful before is when we had like a smaller shaft of light, that it was in like a more centralized, localized area. It's gotten too big now, and it's kind of hitting the entire room. So it feels like it's inside the space and not outside. The shaders are looking good. The colors are looking good. I think it's just too broad. I would say take a step back and try and localize that again back there. So we have whatever angle you decide for that one. Like if it comes in like this, then just keep this light a parallel to that. So whatever that's coming in. But I mean, like the shaders, everything else looks good. It's just about localizing that some more.
Cool.
All right. Now let's hop into these. So question about these three. We've got the majority of the lighting, because like I see that we've got the key and the rim and the bounce. Actually, switch these. So the majority of this light is that so this is the key light coming in, like the majority of this, right?
Yeah.
What's hitting the character? Okay. Because I think I had this backwards. That makes sense. One thing about the bounce, you want to make sure to take off the reflection on it in the
Yeah, the reflections I'm gonna do totally separate.
Yeah, cool.
Because they're very
Cool.
weird.
I do like that we can start to see like a little bit of the book in the reflection. I think that's cute. I'm trying to think. So I think that the directionality of this makes a lot of sense. I think the framing of it makes a lot of sense. I would, because like I almost want the edge of the robot to fall inside the window entirely, like rotate the camera like almost up and around this way a little bit, just so his head is clear of the window here and over here. But that might play around with that, because that might not be a good composition overall. Because like once you move it might throw it off a little
inside
bit.
the window,
Yeah. It might just be a matter of just moving this geometry and making the window a little bit wider or something. Because I really like the idea of the window framing them. I'm looking at her. I like this bounce up underneath her. This might be a little bit strong on her, like on her thumb and like on her leg and on her foot and stuff. But I love the bounce light that we're getting in here and the variation as it comes along there. This bounce value in here looks good. So we put in the rim. I think the rim is good. One of the things about it though, you'll probably want to neutralize that color, because right now it looks like a little bit of a cool color interacting with the red of his metal body, and it just kind of looks a little bit green, a little mushy. So I think a white light on there would just kind of help that. And then I think the bounce color is looking, the bounce value is feeling pretty good. I think this is looking nice. It's just a matter of, now that we've got this structure, it's about getting in some detail. Like one of the big things is the top of the robot just feels a little dusty. Like I want to kind of tighten that up a little bit. The source feels a little bit too broad, a little bit too diffuse, and you want that to feel a little bit specky. And especially on this metal, because right now the specularity and the bump feels the same between the red part and the worn away part, and I think I would like the specularity on the red to feel a little bit more like a painted surface, and the gray to feel like a little bit more just like a base metal color. If that makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything for this?
Just the harsh edges of the bounce light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about in the reflection itself or the light that it casts?
That too, but
From the bottom.
yeah, the actual boundary of the light.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. You're right.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, like for bounce or fill, also try like putting like a big area light instead. I don't know, instead of a spotlight.
Is that a spotlight or is that a disc light?
It's a spotlight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, try something a little broader, because like think about it as like lights coming in through my window here and hitting a large swath of the ground and bouncing light up underneath me. So it's really about like the shape of that as opposed to the light source, kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like. Go on.
There's also a little a line of light on her shoulder that I think it's because of the geometry, but it kind of looks like it's
Yeah. That's the geometry.
Yeah, because that's like the front of her shirt, I think.
Yeah.
But that does look a little bit odd there.
Yeah.
Well, cool. This is making good progress, though.
Hey.
All right, Jordan. I think that I'm feeling the frontal nature of this. I think that's working really well. Oh, you did say you're gonna hit the glasses note. The big thing.
I created a new one. Like that.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Got it.
Yeah, it's a little bit right before. Yep.
No, it's fine. I missed it. All right. Cool. Okay, yeah, much better on the glasses tone. The biggest thing for me is versus the previous version that we had was that it's the same thing where we're losing the detail in her a little bit, like specifically in her hair. Like you were able to really get, because we worked pretty hard to get the because we're big on not doing any sort of like actual furred hair on our things, because it's just like. We did it on the Redshift character, and it's just a mess. It's just like an X-Gen nightmare. So we're trying to do hard geo. And like one of the things about it is that you can get some really nice shape out of it, and really nice edges and speck and that kind of thing. And I think that will work out really well. Also, it's also like her face feels a little bit, because it's a little bit of a broad light, so some of the details being lost in there. But I think the structure is really nice. Like, and then the other thing would be playing with some more reflection or speck or something in the robot's head itself, just to get that to read a little more. Because we lose some of what it is a little bit, and I think, and I don't think that we should add a bunch of light there, but we should take advantage of the reflective nature of the metal and put maybe put some objects around it to kind of pick up some some subtle reflections in there.
Like a bounce card.
Like a bounce card, yeah, bounce card. It doesn't, yeah, definitely not a light source, but something that is like a white or a colored object or something, just to pick up some variation in there.
Cool. So what you're saying something about the face? Like it was feeling too broad.
It's too broad because it's a big light source that's hitting her very frontally, and it's just kind of like, I know there's not like a lot of bump or detail in her face, but it just feels like it's kind of getting washed out. So I think I would play around with, and this is true with the hair too. So what I would do if I was lighting this and I'd be like, man, this light is just causing it to look too broad on the front, I would keep that light the way it is, play around with reducing the radius slightly, but I would take down the overall illumination on it by like half, and then maybe put a separate spotlight that's linked to just the character, kind of like off to the side. I'd kick it around the screen right side a little bit more and put that on her. The idea being the additive value of this now hidden spotlight and the light from the robot equal the amount of brightness that I want, but you're just kind of hitting it from two different angles to kind of create more shaping.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's not, so the illumination is there, but you're just glancing it a little bit more with one of them. And it doesn't really break the believability because you're still getting the front on light. It just rounds it out a little bit more.
Okay. So this is kind of like one of those situations where it's like we're cheating it a bit is really helping to push it.
Correct. Because the reality of it is it's just an unflattering lighting scenario for her by default. If we did it true to life, this is where photoreal. I was gonna say it sucks. This is where photoreal can get us into trouble because you're like, no, that's not what would happen, and you're like, but what would happen looks lame, and we're not about real. We're about pretty, and we're about like making things look good. So that's what that
Cool.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Ruby joined us. Yes, hello, Ruby. All right, so we've got, it's funny, it's like now we're, hello. We've got the flipped version. We've got her on the other side now, the character reading the book. We've darkened the room, which I think helps out a lot. This is interesting too, because now we're framing her against the wall and him against the window. I'm wondering if, and again, just playing with the geometry because we can specialize it a little bit ourselves. I wonder if you shouldn't make this a little I guess it would be a matter of taking the window and pushing it out. I just want to make it a little bit wider so that she can read against this. And then in doing that, maybe make the window a little bit taller so that the robot's profile is all in the window there. That could be a really cool setup. In terms of the lighting itself, my biggest thing is, okay, let's think about this. So we want what were you thinking in terms of like what's the main story that you want to tell here? Is it the robot reading this book to her? Is it more about her gaze out of the window? Like what is the most important part of this for the story, like the story that we're trying to tell here?
I think mostly focus on the girl gazing out of the window.
Okay. And do you feel that this light is the main light source for that, or is it like something outside? Is it more natural light or something outside the window? What do you think the key light should be on her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking more on that wall side. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. Okay, so with this light glowing, this right here. Yeah, this is going to be another situation similar to what we were just talking about with Jordan's, where we want to, because we want to illuminate the front half of her face to like really get that look of like the gazing out the window thing. And I do think that, so we're just going to cheat it around a little bit so it's coming in from the screen left a little bit stronger. This area can go a little bit darker. My phone think I just said Siri for some reason. And although I did just say Siri, it did not react to that at all. Anyway, so because we really want to emphasize that. And what I do think that could do is because when a character is like longing for another space, I think it's kind of cool to create her color is going to be different than the outside. So it's like there is a separation there in the styles of like this very cool outside and what's going on inside. One of the things that you want to watch out for is there are a lot of, like, the shadows are a little bit sharper, so it's causing a lot of, like, hard-edged lines, which is kind of muddling up the composition a little bit. So I think it would be about softening those shadows to kind of get it really about the character. Now, I'm wondering what should we do about the robot itself, because I'm trying to think. Maybe one thing that could help is taking this curtain and sliding it behind him a little bit, maybe two, so it's like it comes out to like around here. Maybe we'll play around with that so that it allows the backside of him to go a little bit darker. This is going to, like, we should darken that overall or make that more like glass or something, because it being very bright like draws our eye there, so I kind of want to just take that down. So yeah, because we want to de-emphasize the robot, maybe just make this a little bit of a rim on his head, and then focus it on her face, allow that to go a little darker. And then once we get that, I would like to, and this is, you don't have to do this now or anything, but I would like to introduce a little bit some of these cooler values into the interior space a little bit, so it's more like the nighttime is coming inside a little bit, and really the only warm thing is just the light on the curl. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, just a real quick thought. Is there a way to maybe move the robot a little bit to the left? Because it seems like they're really, from this angle, it seems like he's almost right on top of her, and it just looks
Yeah, that's a really good point too. So it would be a matter of, because I was looking at this as the edge of the frame. Yeah, maybe move this a little bit less and just move him over that way. Yeah, he's maybe that's part of the story. Maybe he's just not giving her any space.
I was gonna say just like rotate the camera a bit, and then that puts him off.
Yeah.
Like rotate the camera around this way a little bit.
Yeah, because they're also very close together, and they're almost attached by the window. So just even to cause a bit separation.
Yeah, just increase that little gap. That's good. Okay, cool. All right, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. All right, so this was Forrest. Okay, Andre. The previous version, the updated one, the darker road looks nice. Darkening down around her feet helps. We'll play around with the color for a sec on this. Let's just see. Almost. I just want to add a little bit more warmth to the interior. Yeah, less about the outside, because it's more about like how it's hitting this wood and bouncing around in there.
Mm-hmm.
think that could help a little bit. And then, so I think the structure overall is in a pretty good spot. I'm just wondering, I think now we want to do a little more detail work on the characters. So I really like the way that the light is hitting his hair up here, and we're able to see the individual strands. I am just wondering if, like, I'm trying to see if, because this is like pretty harsh on his edge here, and I like it. I almost wonder if we shouldn't pull that back a little bit on the characters, and then I'm trying to think of it as like in terms of that, like in the character lighting class we talk about the key and the key fill, and so the key being when the key is more like a harsh rim, like keeping that just so it almost functions as a rim light, and then putting a second spotlight, kind of similar to what we were just talking about with the robot too, on the face to kind of set, like, soften that a little bit more, so it's more of a softer transition versus like just the hard line around the edge. Yeah, I would give that a try. And then if there's any way, I'm just looking at the back of her because there's like some shadow break, like light falling on her, and it almost feels a little bit. It almost feels a little bit harsh. Like I kind of like the overall. I think it would be much like more appealing on her if like these bright hits weren't quite on her, and it was more about the light on the front of her, because this just kind of draws our eye to her back, and I'd really like to keep it more on her face.
Okay.
What else are you guys seeing? Anything? I think it's more just because I think the environment looks pretty good. This maybe a little bit more contrast on these plants. They're a little blue.
Okay.
Maybe tweak those. Do you guys see anything else? Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, overall, this is feeling a lot like much better than the previous iterations. So it's feeling good.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. And then, all right, I think that's everybody who is live. Did I miss anybody before hopping in? All right, so next up we have Annabelle. I think this one looks good. I don't know if you guys have. I think this is a quick turnaround on this, but the only thing I would consider doing is just making pushing this bit of snow maybe a touch brighter, just like in the central area there. Nope, too much. And that would really be about it. Just to kind of feel that spotlight a little bit more. But it might be a little bit too bright, but super minor. I think this is looking great overall. Does anybody have any notes on this? Yeah. Maybe just desaturate this awning too, just because it's a little bit red underneath it, and it just kind of takes away from the color palette of it overall. So maybe just pull the saturation off that.
Maybe just open the door on the right a little bit, because it's like all the rest of the scene is really like a lot more lit than that door all of a sudden.
I'm actually okay with that because it kind of helps vignette it on that side. I think it's okay. Yeah. Oh, and then maybe darken this barrel a little bit towards the base, just as it goes down. Just kind of darken it down there because it's a little bit like gamma lifted. Let's see if that works. Maybe if I just take down the gamma on it. Although that'll just make it. What is that? Exposure. It'll make it contrasty, but saturated. But something more along these lines. Yeah, I think this looks great. Yeah, really great job, Annabelle. This is so. beautiful and nice and colorful, and you made something very difficult, lighting snow, look very easy. So good job there. And then Ayako, I think the eyelings look good. I think the iris pupil separation is good. I think the shaping is good. I am also good with this one, unless anybody has any notes, or we should cheer. Anybody got anything? Woo! Okay, let's go. All right, good job. Yeah. All right, well, that's a good place to end it today, is a good little cheer. And again, Ayako, I seem to always make you wait to the end to tell you that you did a good job. I need to, and you're alphabetically, you should be earlier than this. So thank you for your patience on that. Any questions, anything before we part ways for the day? All right, good job, everybody. And I look forward to seeing what you got tomorrow.
Thank you.
Take care. Happy lighting, everybody.
Thank you.
Good job.
Bye.
Bye.